Those guys.
Sneaky.
I guess it's not really accurate to call those guys jokers. The NSA seems to like stay out of the news a lot.
They do. You know, that's probably also part of their job, though. Yeah.
Their job is to like.
Well, signals intelligence, right?
Well, the weird thing about psyops is, you want to leak a little bit about what you're doing, just to scare the shit out of everybody.
Well, yeah, that's why they make all these television programs about the CIA all the time. They make it seem kind of stupid, though.
Well, the weird thing about the CIA fits in the all of the above category, right?
The all of the above category.
Category. All of the above.
What do you mean by all of the above, though?
It's like God, It's like God. God isn't good or bad, God is great. And the CIA fits in that category. See? It's not good or bad.
Okay.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for people to understand that one concept.
No, I dig that. I mean, I find some of their people quite fascinating.
Fascination. Morbid fascination. Obesely morbid fascination.
Obesity morbid.
It's like what's worse than a necrophiliac? One that likes big girls?
Oh, God. God bless our nation's God, or whatever you say.
Yeah, that whole "in God we trust" thing is from the 50s, but they don't say which God they're trusting, do they? Moloch.
Right.
They're all into that fucking Moloch thing, sacrificing babies to it.
The owl stuff.
The owl.
What's your take on the owl stuff?
It's so interesting how that metaphor is in everybody's houses, man. How people have those little owl doodads everywhere. Those in hedgehogs.
I've got some of those weird owl things,
I've never been that fascinated with owls.
I'm fascinated with people's fascination with owls.
I am the owl. Keep America free.
Wait, where's all the hoots?
Hoot.
Right.
I forget how did they do the owl icon in our chat room?
Yeah, no, they type in hoot parenthetically. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, there's an owl. Tom Cruise, man. Do you think? Here's a question for the chat room. Do you think any of those Tom Cruise pornos, those homemade pornos, are ever going to see the light of day again? That guy who leaked them the first time ended up dead.
I didn't even know anything about this, and I don't know if I do. I don't know if I
I used to live in LA, and my friends used to DJ at one of those bars in West Hollywood. There's lots of people you can bump into that have bumped into Tom Cruise cruising for boys. There's lots of people in West Hollywood that can tell you about it. Are we
feeding the rumor mill?
I'm not feeding the fucking rumor mill. There's lots of evidence of that guy doing the Tom Cruise. Supposedly he's not anatomically correct, and I don't know how you'd know that. I guess if you toweled off with him, maybe after some fucking Ingram session down there at the Celebrity Theater, popping a bunch of niacin and checking out your Ingrams with the O-meters.
Well, the Scientology people.
I can make those meters do anything. My friend Brian, who's like an OTO guy, you know, in LA.
Yeah.
We would buy those things. We'd look up Craigslist for when people had the goodies to sell. See, the thing is, when you join Scientology and you get into auditing, they make you buy it. Here's the best thing about Scientology: when you're buying all that shit, when you're trying to get into the Sea Org and shit, they make you buy 2 copies of everything, in case you lose one book, or in case the E-meter, the Ingrams meter breaks. They're like, you have to buy 2 in case one breaks.
A backup e-meter or whatever.
But
like,
they're just fully milking your shit. They're just fully milking your shit.
Kid.
So anyway, sometimes every now and then one of those people get some rabbit in their blood, and they decide to run from the program, and they want to sell all their shit that they were forced to buy, including all their documents up to, like, you can buy the OT level, the operating thetan level. You can buy them up to level 9, 10. That shit's been hacked pretty high up, so you could get all their secrets.
Can't you just download all that stuff online for free?
Well, the problem with downloading stuff is it's just like the Masonic shit, you know. A lot of it's fake too. But anyway, so we had a bunch of those e-meters at Brian's house for a while, and I can make those things do anything.
Do anything in what sense?
Well, I can make the needle stay in the middle. I can make it go up, go down. I can make it go anywhere I want. I can totally control that thing.
And, well, what exactly does the e-meter do, though?
Well, here's the thing: is when you read the auditing questions, they just say a bunch of stuff. They're like, "This is stupid. I'm stupid. You're stupid. The world is stupid. Why is there spiders on my face? Are there shapes? Why is that shape moving by?" They just say a bunch of stuff, like just random shit over and over again, talking at you while you're holding the things. See, it's not even like a lie detector that way. They're just like trying to get your reaction. Could be anything, and then they're writing down stuff as the meter moves. Positive or negative. See? It's like any answer is registering.
Right.
I always love it when, see, it never happens to me here. They're not allowed to do that aggressive stuff because it's a cult. So it's not the same as if you're in, like, Hollywood or something. Those people are everywhere. But I always love, like, when people walk up to me, like, from some cult, and I start quizzing them. I'm like, what makes you think that I needed to be talked to you? Was it my shoes? Just give me a what made you pick me out of all people? Because didn't you know I was going to tell you to go fuck yourself? I'm like, what, is it my shoes that tell you that you're going to ask me this question and I'm going to tell you to go to hell? Did I tell you guys before in TV Land about my friends? See, I knew these guys, John Law and all these guys from they used to do the Cacophony Society, but then it got taken over by a bunch of other people. But they're like these Bay Area troublemakers, a lot of my friends. They go way back. And about 15 of them joined this cult. It might have been Est or one of these, the Rajneeshis or one of them, and they went up to their center, and they all went into the indoctrination program that was like 3 days long, where they give you like niacin and all that shit. And then they waited, and they pretended like they didn't know each other. And then they just rebelled, freaked everybody out in this whole like room full of people, one by one, going, you know what, this is fucking bullshit. And then the next person would stand up, you know what, he's onto something there. I'm with him. Just freaked everybody out. Like they went through a couple of days of the indoctrination and then just rebelled, like in mass. That's the way to do it. If you know.
That's pretty intense, man.
Oh.
That must have been like a hell of a thing to actually see.
It's a long way to walk, though. If you take a ride, a van ride, you better know how to hot rod their little church van, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but See, I live in Germany, and they hate those fucking cults here.
It's not. It's just not cool in Germany.
Well, you know, the OSS, Jack Parson, all that shit, they invented fucking Scientology. So you got to understand the theory behind a lot of this stuff was, like, with the brainwashing shit. I guess they were, if you watch, like, Manchurian Candidate, you know.
Talking about MK Ultra, that kind of thing.
Well, besides that, they figured that the Russians, the Romanians, the Stasi, everybody was brainwashing people, so they better have their own thing, too. Stands to reason that you'd be doing a little bit of that yourself.
I think all this stuff goes back, you know, a really long time, and it's probably all got its roots in different secret societies and stuff. Maybe the Order of the Rose Cross, stuff like that.
The Rosicrucians.
Mm.
Well, everybody loves, like, the mumbo jumbo, the, like, ghost story stuff, right? Everybody likes that shit. Paranormal Activity.
I only saw the first one, but that's because I got dragged to it by some girl from the college.
Man, there ain't nothing from Hollywood that's for me. Bunch of fucking pablum.
You know, dead TV always makes my lungs hungry, man.
Really? You ever eat lung?
Nah. What kind of lung?
I don't know. You're like hungry?
Animal lung, cow lung.
I don't know. We probably eat it all the time at curry number 47.
Shrimp lung.
I don't even know if they eat lungs, do they?
Who's that?
God, you're all dark, man. You're a mysterious hacker. I just hear keyboards and... Ew, look at that. Wow.
Great sunset.
That's pretty glorious. Sunrise, fool. Come on.
Rise. Same thing, just in reverse.
All that smoke on the horizon is probably the Occupy Portland Pearl District camp going up in flames right now.
Really?
No, it isn't going up in flames. Bunch of idiots with fucking anarchy crap jacket on their jacket. Whatever. I mean, if you're going to go into a protest, please, do you have to wear your bondage gear and your anarchist jacket, your cross jacket? How much more cliche can you get? Walk out in a postcard. Yeah, go like this, walking in a postcard with a mohawk to a protest.
Oh, man.
Did Betsy Johnson put you up to that shit? Malcolm McLaren's?
Well, Malcolm... What, the Sex Pistols guy?
No, just like his sex shop in London where they were like, yeah, let's...
Oh, right, yeah.
This will be totally funny. We'll just make fake bondage clothes because all the Tories and all the fucking... Everybody's gay in England and they're all into bondage and shit anyways. So Malcolm McLaren thought it was funny to, like, see, like, the Prime Minister and all the ministers of Parliament, you know, go pay to have chicks beat them up. And
I heard about that.
All that bondage gear. So Malcolm McLaren thought it was funny to, like, go, we'll just sell this bondage gear to the poorest people in society and have them walking in the street and really make people as a fashion thing.
Well, then they're pretty much like rubbing it in their faces.
Kind of. They're just like, here's your dirty little secret walking down the street right here.
Dude, that's a lyric right there. Write that down.
I don't want to sing about that kind of crap. I like to sing about what I know. I'm into mystical shit, and there's nothing mystical about bondage. Bondage is like some weird stuff.
Weird stuff.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
German pervert bullshit.
Different strokes for different folks, right? Or whatever.
Some Eurotrash garbage. Are we Euro trash?
Oh, wait, is who Euro trash?
Me and you.
Huh?
Are we Euro trash, you and I?
I don't think we're Euro trash, no.
Am I considered Euro trash now?
Why would we be Euro trash?
I don't know. I'm asking. I've got questions and I want fucking answers. That's why.
Well, that's very wise. You know, because we shouldn't really know too many things.
See, that's bullshit. That's what they fucking teach you in school.
No. They teach us absolute truths in school, and I only believe in relative truths because you can only prove things to be true relative
it's
to
all fucking revisionist history. You can't even sell a school textbook that's 5 years old. It's all bullshit.
Exactly.
It's just a business. It's all bullshit.
Well, yeah. Selling people fucking programming.
They just take all those old textbooks and send them to Africa just to keep Africa down. They teach us, you know what I mean? They teach absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I learned like most of the things I know from spending time on amphetamines on the internet.
They should teach children to be really good liars and keep secrets very well. That's all that you can learn from school that's going to make you money, right?
Yeah, they teach you how to be a good tattletale.
You get the big fucking bonuses for keeping your mouth shut about insider trading and all that crap. Right?
I remember I went to, whatever, a few days ago, and I talked to some dude in the bar that said something about, oh god, sorry, the wine just hit me. God, what did he say? Oh, bollocks. Sorry.
Dude, you need to fucking formulate your ideas before you call into international talk.
Well, no, I just had an idea, and then it just lost it.
It must not have been important.
Well, probably not in the grand scheme of things.
Obviously, for some reason I took Spanish in high school and not gutter gibberish. Talk show gibberish. Because I can't understand what the fuck you're saying.
You can't understand what I'm saying?
I keep scratching my mind thinking about life, but shit is rough. I keep wondering why Jack White picked up a phony accent to go with his fake-ass name.
You calling me Jack White again? My fake-ass name and my fake-ass accent.
No, that's okay. What about the KLF? Did you like those guys? What they were all about? What Time Is Love? KLF?
Who's that?
There were these guys that just decided to stop playing until there's world peace. They had a #1 hit and they said, that's it. They also won like this fucking £1 million Mercury Prize and burned it all on camera. $1 million.
When was this?
In the 80s, late 80s.
Oh, right.
89.
Yeah, no, I was born in 89.
Holy shit, you were born in 89.
Yeah, man.
God damn it.
Far out, right?
Weird. If I was born in 1989, I would feel so fucking ripped off by life. I'd be like, fuck, what is this shit, man?
How do you think I feel? How do you think all the kids out in the streets feel?
You're just in time for fucking Prozac.
I know, right?
You're like, he's 1 year old. Let's give him some Prozac. We just invented this shit.
Oh, man.
What a ripoff.
I've spent so many years on
Who won the World Series?
Oh, I don't know who won the World Series.
That's right, we don't give a fucking shit. I know who won.
Exactly, I don't know who won the
St.
World
Louis
Series.
Cardinals.
I don't pay attention to that
The
stuff.
St. Louis Cardinals won, but I was just thinking to myself, who fucking cares, man, about that shit? Does anybody even give a shit about baseball except the guy that got beat up by the Dodgers fan? In this, you know, it's like the only person that cares about fucking baseball got beat up by two gangbangers for being a San Francisco fan at Dodger Stadium. He was the only guy that cared. That was the last real baseball fan and got his fucking put in a coma. The last baseball fan.
The last baseball fan. Wait. Hold on a second.
What are you doing?
What were you saying about the Prozac and all that? Let me show you something. This is totally my generation right here.
Your generation. Look at all that. Jesus Christ, are some of those Vicodins?
Not anymore.
Oh well. That's okay.
Yeah, no, those are all gone.
Do you keep spiders in those pill jars?
No, I don't like spiders.
So that's what you do is before you have a party, you get a bunch of like capsules and put spiders in them and then put them in your pill cabinet. So when everybody raids your little pill jar, it's all spiders.
That's why I keep all my pills in a bag near me at all times.
Fuck drugs, man.
Why fuck drugs?
I don't know, if drugs changed anything, then we would be living in a fucking world of that's different.
Well, it is different. I think it's very different from drugs. I mean, look what happened after they started fucking around with LSD, you know?
Yeah, but drugs, all they do is they get you fucked up, so then you think that the fucked up world's okay.
Yeah.
But if you were sober, you'd just be like, fuck this! Shit!
I know, right?
No.
So when you're in a hard place,
you're screwed any which way.
You can do if you. Well, I mean, when you're in a hard place about not being able to do anything if you were sober, then it's like,
drugs are like if you're stoned, then all the shit in the world just smells like pot a little bit.
Well, yeah, but that's what California's like anyway.
Don't tell me what California's like.
Weird out here, man.
I know what California's like.
Well, I'm sure you do, yeah. I mean, you lived out here for a while.
I was born there.
Like a long. But I mean, I just moved out here like a year ago, so.
See, I had to move away
strange.
because so many people like you moved to California, basically.
Well, it's weird out here. Like the humor's different. Like everything's different out here. You know.
Well,
I feel.
But all you dipshits want to make
want
to make everything the same. See, you're like complaining that you go someplace different and complain. It's like, why go someplace different if you just want it to be the same? Just stay in your own shithole instead of dragging your shithole every place else.
Well, because I wanted to stay in London, but I had to leave. You know.
Well, London. Alan McGee says anybody over 40 that lives in London and doesn't work in down there at the City of London, controlling the world, then they're just idiots. Then they're just fucking kidding themselves. Because it's horrible. Unless you're making a lot of money. You might as well go live in Somalia. They're going to change the rules that any UK ship can now have armed people on it. Because they're getting tired of the Somalian thing. But the only reason why the Somalians are there is because when they pretend that they're robbing those ships or whatever that they're doing over there, then it has an excuse for all the Western navies in the world to be right outside the Strait of Hormuz, right there in the Horn of Africa. So they've got like carriers and destroyers like from every single country on the fucking planet that has a battleship is right off the coast of Africa right there. On the way in where all the oil comes out of the Strait of Hormuz right there, right? But then they can't fight some guy in a canoe with an AK-47. They've just got like submarines and every single thing in the world that you can't even use for pirate boats, like aircraft carriers and everything else. But then you don't even use any of that shit. See what I'm saying? They all have an excuse to be there because there's pirates. So they're not doing shit about the pirates, really. They catch him and let him go. They catch him and let him go. They could just as easily give him go, here, try on this pair of Nikes. They're made out of concrete. Bloop, and nobody even say anything. They could take one of those Black Hawk helicopters and just strafe every single one of those pirates into oblivion in a second. If one of those pirate boats was off the coast of Israel, it wouldn't even make it. It wouldn't even make it 500 miles close to the coast. Any one of those boats. And that's just little bitty Israel. You can't even fucking take a surfboard. I'm not even kidding. There's no way in hell. Try it sometime. Just try and go to Israel unannounced and see what happens. You can't even get anywhere close to that coastline without being boarded. I wonder why. But anyways. See what I'm saying? It's like
same
total
reason
bullshit.
we have so much fucking surveillance in this country. You know?
Well, it's just a joke. It's just a big fucking joke. It's only there for you to believe if you need something to believe in. Like a lot of this shit.
Well, that's why I got a bag full of medications that I take every day.
Poor you. I pity you, fool.
I pity myself sometimes.
Oh. Pity party on Dead TV.
Well, I feel worse for like the rest of my generation, though. You know, the people
Why?
that pay attention to anything.
Why? Where do you draw the line? Your generation? What do you fucking?
Honestly,
you don't give a shit about the
draw
babies
line
or the old people.
of my
It's just your generation. All just you and your selfish generation.
Yeah, it is a selfish generation, and I draw the line of where this generation is at about like 1 year younger than me, because people just a year younger than me don't know what MS-DOS is, and they don't know what it's like to not have an iPod and stuff like that. You know, and I think that's really sad.
When I see somebody with an iPod, I know for a fact they probably don't have good taste in music, so it's just really weird. On the one hand, I'm like super happy they don't have a ghetto blaster, so I don't have to listen to their bad taste in music. Second of all, I'm like, who fucking cares? They're gonna get run over by a cab probably anyways.
So we just don't have any sympathy for this generation of
It's not my job to re-raise all you monkeys.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, like
well, it's not my job either, but I feel bad for.
Sometimes I'm thankful for all the propaganda and stuff, because then, like, all these people that believe in whatever they want to believe, they don't have to feel all stressed out, I guess.
Well, then that's, you know, all the propaganda is a lot like the drugs. You know,
of course it is.
Keeps them all shut up and content and all
the
that.
The religion and all of it. Of course it is.
Yeah.
That's why that old dude with the beard said, religion is the opiate of the masses.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of things that are the opiate of the masses, including opium. But, I mean, now opiate of the masses, man. You know how many Americans are on drugs? Lots of them.
Yeah.
Fucking lot of them.
I think, you know, most of them, and if they think they're not, then they're just naive if they think they're not on drugs, because, you know, they all have this mentality of, oh, but that's not a drug, or, oh, but my doctor prescribed that, or, you know. Oh, man. America getting me down.
Don't say that. You got an English accent. They're going to kick your ass if you say that.
people try and, you know, spark up fights with me all the time for saying things out loud, but you know, that doesn't stop me.
No. What would stop you?
Afraid to answer that. Don't want to give the world any ideas.
Random drug testing.
Random drug testing
Would stop you?
No. Or from what? From thinking, from talking, from, you
What are you going to do about your future?
know, continue living until I die. You know, all I can do, really. I don't know what to do about the future. I think the whole country and a lot of
rats have the same plan. The rats have the same plan, and they eat their own shit.
Who eats their own shit?
Rats.
Oh, rats
have the same plan as you do. That's what they do. It's called survival. See, rats don't give a shit about quality of life. That's what I would like to see, some quality of life. I don't even care how long I live. Because I'll tell you the truth. It's fucking boring. People are boring. So it's not like you're winning the fucking lottery by living to be 101 or something.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because you have to be a pretty spectacular specimen of humanity just to like have some kind of enjoyable life. There has to be something broken in your brain.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You have to you have to overlook a lot of bullshit from other people. Just have a little bit of a good time.
I try. Yeah.
Do you ever sculpt?
Sculpt?
Like sculpting, like making statues or figurines or abstract something.
No.
That have no practical use except to be appreciated as art.
Yeah, no, I've never been very good at pretty much any art. I mean,
that's pathetic.
I'd like to think my music's all right sometimes.
That's what all musicians think, though.
Yeah, I know. It sucks to be a musician these days. I mean, you were talking to Spliff before about you know, everybody just puts everything up on Bandcamp and SoundCloud. You know, that's all you really can do.
Well, I'm fucking glad that Bob Dylan doesn't have Bandcamp, because I would say that I'd venture to say that it would suck too. And that's Bob Dylan.
Well, he's been around a while.
Yeah, but now, you know what I was thinking last night, though, when I was at his show? I was like, wow, there's like fucking 10,000 people here, or whatever fits in the O2 arena. And I was like, all these people are kidding themselves. They're probably all... I was thinking to myself, how many of these people actually think that this is okay? That he's out here touring the world presenting this as Bob Dylan? And why is he doing it? Because...
I know, man. Like, I went to...
I was just like... Who actually, there's people standing on their feet, like clapping after every single song, and I'm like, why are they exactly clapping? Is this just your last hurrah, your last opportunity?
Because they paid money to go see him, and they want to feel good about themselves or something. I don't know.
Do you think Germans have like a deep desire to feel good about themselves?
I don't know. I'm sure some of them do. You know?
Bob Dylan isn't as bad as Lou Reed. Lou Reed has always been a cheesebag shithead. I'll tell you why Lou Reed is a son of a bitch and just really a fucking dickhead, and he has been his whole life. Anybody who would fucking let their parents send them to a mental hospital and have electroshock therapy more than once is a dickhead. You're a little dickhead prostitute. Yes, they did. And that means he's just a little prostitute, because why you would allow your parents to send you to a mental hospital and give you electroshock therapy, not once, but more than once. Allow them to do that. The only reason you would allow to do that if, like, maybe they had info that you were fucking your sister and they were going to put you in jail, or you still wanted their money. So he's just a little prostitute. He always has been from when he was selling his ass on 47th Street. He's just been a little fucking hooker his whole life. So I have zero respect for that guy.
Shit, man.
That's a fact, too. Because if somebody fucking put me through electroshock therapy and they ever even tried to even touch me, I would kill them.
Ouch, man. I hope Lee Reed's not watching.
So I have zero respect for that guy. Period. And that's a good fucking reason to have zero respect for somebody. Like, I could give a fuck. He could play with Metallica. He could fucking play with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. In fact, he could even dress up like a National Socialist. I would still have zero respect for him. You know? Like, there's nothing worse than that guy can do than before he even had a name for himself. He just completely... I have zero respect for the guy. So if I found out that guy was like a closet Nazi and traitor to, like, atrocity, he would still be zero in my eyes. You know what I mean? I don't like him.
I don't know. I think you lost me around the Nazi bit.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm saying is, like, if he was one of those guys, trust me, there are a lot of people, okay, who have no allegiance to anything. Believe it or not.
Yeah, no.
Trust me.
I think that a lot of people in this country would easily sell their, their dignity for about $5.
There's all kinds of weird shit in this world, man. Fucking Death in June and those bands play at a Jewish Kabbalah center in downtown New York. Now, how does that work out? They're banned in Germany. So you tell me, like, what's going on with that? I don't know. Anyway, it's not my business. Whatever people want to do, but I don't like that guy, Lou Reed. I don't care what people say about me.
What is the opposite of Lou Reed, says Deborah?
Creativity. He had a couple of good
So
ideas.
you're saying
but,
he has no creative potential?
well,
whatsoever?
look. His best ideas were completely tampered through a genius's eyes. Like John Cale put him up to all the best ideas, including recording technique, execution. And then after John Cale splits a scene, and it's not even Lou Reed playing, it happens to be fucking the Yule brothers playing, pretending that it's him. And then David Bowie put him up to being public gay with a thing of hair bleach and what have you. Kind of. The truth.
Well, is that when he was all like blonde in the mid-70s?
Well, yeah, when he said, hey, David Bowie goes, hey, this is pretty cool. We just pretend, or we let people know, or we really play up our gay thing, our bisexual side, and it means we can have money. Let's all do this.
What do you think about Jerry Garcia?
Well, you know what, the Grateful Dead, if you take away LSD from the Grateful Dead, they probably wouldn't be that popular at all.
Well,
I can. Besides Frank Zappa, the Grateful Dead come in second for the massive body of unlistenable music, unless you're higher than shit on drugs, or you're fucking just sick in the head. So I can think of like, I put like all that Grateful Dead music in the same camp as any other fucking DJ with 1,000 mixes out. It's all a bunch of shit. Who wants to see a bunch of kind of, right?
what was that?
I guess
Sorry, because I can't see over here.
people seem to like the first Grateful Dead record, but I like other things from the same time period.
Honestly, I really like the album Wake of the Flood. I think that's a great record.
Touch of Grey.
Wake of the Flood. It's got like Row Jimmy and a couple of tracks on it. I don't know.
You know what? I looked up the Grateful Dead in the dictionary, and the definition was wanker. Wankers.
Yeah, they're pretty much like holy figures out here in Marin.
Yeah, I know all about that stuff. But there's the most narrow-minded fucking music fans on the planet are Grateful Dead fans, so that's a damn fucking fact.
Well, yeah, because it's like anything that isn't the Grateful Dead to them.
Why are you going to listen to 500 fucking different versions of live recordings of fucking them just playing nothing or wrecking their own songs and not listen to anything else that's remotely psychedelic ever? That's not very psychedelic. That's not very mind-expanding whatsoever.
Listening to the same songs over and over again, but a little bit different.
Check out this one. The 900th time they played this live for 3 hours.
Yeah, it all does get a bit samey, doesn't it?
Whatever. Whatever, hippie bitches. That's what I say.
Oh, man. It's weird. It seems like we're hitting a lot of topics that I was talking about earlier tonight with a friend. You know, just like spontaneously coming up as Dead TV goes on.
Okay, you know what's more interesting than the Grateful Dead? For a long time in America, even in the NSA and all these different forms, echelons of government, they had drug testing for a long time. Except for a long time they couldn't. For a long time they couldn't test psychedelics whatsoever. They even can't. They can test. They can't test for acid. They could test for a radioactive isotope if it's made with something that's been irradiated. So anyway, so here it is. All the fucking people on pain pills or what have you, unless they get a pass, are all kept at a certain level of society. Meanwhile, the psychedelic people just rise to the top and take over. But the only problem with that theory is they didn't do very much with taking over.
I thought you were going to bring up the MK Ultra stuff again, where I think.
Well, another time, another show, I'll tell you about the theory about the million llamas becoming the million penchant llamas all becoming Dalai Lamas at once, Supreme Lamas. Versus Tim Leary trying to get the jump on the Age of Aquarius as a master mason, leaking all the acid and opening up people's minds to confront like the deadening of the pituitary gland and the dark forces, like the zombies with the mephedrone stuff.
Oh yeah, mephedrone back
where they just fucking open up your pituitary gland and kill it, and then leave you open to a suggestion. Like
you talking about that stuff that was all in the UK about like
but it's in all the coke everywhere. They cut that shit into everything now, so everybody's on that shit.
That's really reassuring for people that do cocaine.
Just fucking completely destroys your pituitary gland, stops you from having God consciousness ever. They got everybody on it. All fucking Lady Gaga's Little Monsters, everybody.
Oh man, I think it's a pretty awful drug, you know. But they're giving it away like practically for free in the UK when I was out there. I mean, I remember everybody doing that, and it was perfectly legal when I tried that, and it just made me feel really awful. It gave me like a terrible headache, and then one thing I noticed is it makes people kind of smell like ketones. I don't know if anybody knows what ketones are.
Sure, like burning fucking plastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, I almost died from diabetic ketoacidosis.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's like this awful kind of like fermented fruit smell that you can smell in your own body odor.
Yeah.
You know, and I've noticed that mephedrone makes people smell like that.
Mm-hmm.
which just doesn't really give me good vibes or anything. It just makes me feel like
you would have to listen to this whole phone call to see how positive we are as people. All the way up to this whole point, this whole thing. Here we are giving good advice saying we're not even into that shit. And then, but the government's probably going to edit it out to where we're saying something bad.
I hope not.
I don't fucking care what they do at this point.
Well, I still kind of care, because
the best thing that could happen to us was that they would make some kind of giant mistake and accidentally fix everything.
You mean like if they decided to stop shooting people with like
well, that's just what they do, man. That's just what they do. See, I don't blame them. See, my whole thing is I don't blame them for like going up against the protesters, arresting them, doing anything. Like that's just what they're supposed to do. But check this out. I really take issue when they start pointing guns at people, like that picture that I posted on Facebook, where there's like a cop with a fucking AR-15 or whatever the fuck that is with a muzzle flash. I mean, that is such bullshit that anybody even put up with that. The minute your cops start bringing fucking AR-15s and point them at people at a protest rally is the minute that those guys deserve to go to jail themselves.
Well, it's just, I mean, it just keeps escalating on both sides. And you know what? I feel like there's greed on both sides of
That's not greed. That's totalitarianism.
No, I mean...
That's what that is. That's a totalitarian
police
state. When they start pointing guns at unarmed people...
Yeah.
That means there is no First Amendment, so don't even cite the fucking Constitution. It's a totalitarian police state. It's not even like a reverse totalitarianism that's all feel-good and friendly looking. It's just full-on fascism. And it's a fucking disgrace. So they need to... I think if they feel that the city council and all these people feel that they need to remove protesters for camping out or for whatever reason that they cite that's legitimate, then they got to do what they got to do. I have no problem with that. The minute they start pointing guns at unarmed people, that's when I say you guys are fucking Nazis. And fuck you, just like I say fuck you to the Nazis. See, that's what I say. But besides that, that point, what I'm saying is like, it's legitimate that people are upset. And I'm not advocating the destruction of the sewer system or any of that shit. I'm just saying it's like completely legitimate that people would be pissed off. Because they're absolutely 100% right. That somehow along the line that the level of lying and stealing and thieving got to such a level to where it's not even plausible at all anything that the government or the media says about anything. It's no longer plausible. That somewhere along the line that people should be a little bit outraged about that. And however that manifests itself is just the way it is. So see, to me that's all legitimate. But when the police start pulling out real guns and pointing them at real unarmed people, that's when I say that that's unacceptable. Because you have every reason to believe that you're going to get shot and killed.
I think it's unacceptable when they're sent there to begin with.
But here's the problem with guns. Here's the problem with guns. Is even people make mistakes, right? Even with guns. And those mistakes are fatal.
Yeah.
When somebody points a gun at you, you have to assume that they're going to shoot it. Period. The reason why you point, just like if you're in a robbery situation, the guy points a gun at you and says, "Stick 'em up, motherfucker." They don't have to say anything else. The first thing you think is that you're going to get shot. That's violence. Without even one word. See? And that's unacceptable. Because that makes them fucking liars. Vague liars. Because the side of their card says to serve and protect. So that makes them a fucking liar
Absolutely.
right there if they just march up into a protest camp with a gun raised.
And you know, I was thinking about something you said the other day about how
Am
they
I
were
wrong?
all,
Wait 1 second. Anybody in the chat room, am I wrong? I'm just curious. Because anybody that thinks I'm wrong can call me up. Okay. So I just think it's unacceptable in any country. Because if they did that in Germany, and they have massive protests here, they have water cannons and all that stuff in Europe. You know what I mean? But if they start whipping out those guns like that, you know what people would say?
Nazis.
Yeah, they would say that. And we don't want to belittle those atrocities and that atrocious situation and that history by even calling people that name. Because there was all kinds of other stuff that went along with it. And this isn't the place for that. But that's what it would look like to the rest of the world. See?
What?
For some reason, America doesn't care about that. America will, for some reason, America will go send a fucking aircraft carrier for hearsay and rumors. You know, that somebody else can't fucking protest in their country in the Middle East or whatever, and you don't even know what's going on. Because you know that they instigate all that shit, because you could read the Brookings Institute plans for how to destabilize these countries, and WikiLeaks was up to that. And all that shit, when they leaked all that information of like, oh yeah, this son of your sultan was working with our CIA, and then all those people got executed and the riots started and all that shit that went down in the past year. Anyway, you know, they sent aircraft, NATO sent aircraft to bomb countries for people interfering with, supposedly the justification was interfering with the right to protest, peaceably protest. That's what Hillary Clinton said. So it just looks really bad for Americans to be doing that. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. It looks really bad.
Now, granted, they're no way on the same level from what we're led to believe by the media, that thousands of people were being killed and tied up and tortured in secret prisons. But then again, we torture people in Guantanamo Bay and all that other stuff. So, I mean, the lines are becoming really blurry. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree the lines are pretty blurry.
Okay.
I mean, it's one big, huge mess. Yeah.
Well, I don't anticipate that any of it's going to get any better anytime soon. I'm just wondering if it makes me a bad guy to point this out.
Of course not.
Well, obviously it does, else there would be people on the Sunday news talk shows right now speaking in the same vernacular.
You'd think that they would.
You'd think in a country with 400 million people with that much wealth and everything that somebody would have the balls to stand up and say, well, this is wrong, or this is suspect, or what does this look like to you, even if they want to be non-committal.
I think there are a lot of people saying it. It's just whether or not the people that are paying these cops overtime, like you were saying the other day, are actually going to listen to them.
Well, J.P. Morgan paid them $4.6 million for their overtime. That's a lot of money to a little police force. Well, New York City police force and L.A., those guys are the big police forces. That was a lot of fucking money. I guess
justice is a business now, isn't it?
Justice. Justice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's even strange to contemplate just the concept of justice and how it's supposed to be
idealism.
Executed, you know.
Idealism.
Idealism.
Man, it's just like
Orwellian.
Fuck that, man. Orwellian, none of that shit is George Orwell was privy to the Tavistock Institute. He sat around at tea parties with all of his buddies, and they talked about those different scenarios for the future. That he was just like spouting off something that he heard about a plan. What are we going to do about the yellow hordes? What are we going to do about the unwashed masses? What are we going to do about this overpopulation in the future? He's just listening to those conversations. If Orwell's books were revolutionary, they wouldn't be required reading by 10th graders in the United States. That's a fact. If it was revolutionary, then they wouldn't be teaching it in every single fucking public school in the country.
Well, I didn't say it was revolutionary.
Well,
but
it isn't. It just teaches you to identify stuff. See, because it's like this like plutocratic fucking Machiavellian teaching, man. They just teach people not to worry about the other shit. It just sets up a conversation where you stand up and you think like you're giving the right answer because it's tainted by your idealism, and then the whole class rips you to ribbons because the arguments, the Kantian, the fucking Kant and all the Descartes and everything, it's already been settled and talked about 100 years ago, 200 years ago. So they just fucking rip you to shreds. So then you study all that shit and you try and be an academic and they don't even want you, so then you get into politics and you're changing your name to Paul Wolfowitz. You hang out with fucking little dickheads like what's his fucking face that I hate so much. That fucking I want to slap. Who's that one shithead?
Which of the shitheads? Can you describe what the shithead looks like?
He looks like a fucking worm. He's from the East Coast and he's always like got all these magazines and shit. And they're always talking to him. And his dad was a fucking worm. His name, God, what's his name? William Crystal. That fucking little shit. That's why they don't invite me to their fucking movie premieres, because I'd slap that guy or whatever. You know who I'm talking about, William Crystal. What a fucking little shit that guy is.
Is this the same Billy Crystal that's the actor?
No, he's not a comedian. Will Crystal fucking is like a pundit, but he's a publisher. He's like one of those William F. Buckley guys, but even way worse. He's a neocon pundit. Those guys. And it's so funny because sometimes people will think I'm a liberal just because I'm against all these dickheads, which isn't even... I don't
even know what to call myself politically anymore because I don't even know what to believe.
Well, even it's just ridiculous. I'll tell you how twisted the world is. It's like when you call liberal equilibrium. Liberum just means balance. It doesn't mean that you're fucking left at all. It means that you have a balanced perspective. So that's where Orwellian newspeak comes in, where you think that, like, you know, the ultra-conservative bullshit, those guys call themselves balanced, which is liberum in Latin, and they're not at all. And then liberals are all the way one way. That's not balanced. Well, it doesn't matter what these idiots tell you words mean. I mean, if they're based in Latin.
I mean, the closest thing I can identify with right now is some kind of weird, like, you know, like Angletonian paranoia. You know, if you're familiar with like James Angleton, you know, I'm reading a lot of that kind of stuff lately. Just about the wilderness of mirrors, as he characterized it.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel that way every time I read anything now, because I keep asking, what if? You know, trying to actually think. You know, use the head that I've got, and every time I do that, I just I get further and further away from